Good afternoon. It is October 13th, 2022, and we just had a massive uptrend today. You can see this news item in the overnight sent prices rocketing down, and they've recovered all of that and then some. I'm not sure. We could take a look at the daily chart. Uh, So this, hopefully it doesn't get messed up. Okay, yeah, it's going to get messed up. Let me turn these indicators off. So you can't even see it because of all my drawings and stuff. Okay, well, anyway, um, we had a lot of bearish dojis the past few days, so today's definitely a huge green bar. So with the market about to close, it's going to be almost closing on its highs. But anyway, let's take a look at the trades. And I think 5 o'clock came in somewhere in here. So there's a chance you might have been going long. This, even though this makes a new high, if you got a good signal bar right here, take that because the bias, or not the bias, we were in a trend. We got a slight overshoot, and that led to a slight break. So I like that. Unfortunately, the signal bar wasn't good. I probably wouldn't like that in real time. But if the signal bar is good, take that. So, but then, yeah, we get this news item, and you can see it just rocket down. And I looked at this as a double bottom. And first entry, second entry, lower high. I think that's a good entry right there off the EMA. And this is definitely a channel down. So you get a hidden second entry right there. You might take that. With how bearish this is, you might take that. But then you get a now I'm realizing this is a failed third entry. But it ticks lower right here. So really, you'd go below this bar. You'd be going below this bar. I think that's where you go short, though, because you're not really. This looks like congestion, and we got that first entry, failed second entry. So when that doesn't trigger, you're probably laying off. But then you get this super bearish bar. I like that. And we come down here, and we get a break. Some people probably looked at this as a double bottom, first entry, second entry, but I don't think you want to do that. And here we get a first entry, failed second entry, short on the side of the EMA to go long on. But, with how bearish this is, you probably want to see some price action play out before going long. But anyway, then we get a first entry, failed second entry. Not sure what happened here. Wasn't watching in real time. Let's see if it ticked lower. So that'd be a 4-tick failure. And yeah, it's just timing. I mean, look, this is a lot of overlap, so don't take failures in overlap, and that's a doji. So, but if you waited for the second entry short, you're good. So it's all about timing. You can see we get a break of, I didn't draw it, but this is a channel down. We get a break of that. Some sideways stuff. Don't take this sideways stuff at the open, especially unless you're super skilled and you know what you're doing. This turns out to be a range. And then we start to form this upward bias. Let's see if I can adjust this. There we go. This looks like a breakout that fails to me, but you don't get a lower high. And we're just going sideways. And then this is like a failed second entry, but I don't think you can take that with this bias. But then you get this failure, and you see we're making higher lows and higher highs, so you might take that. And then I think that's pretty much what begins the uptrend. But we had this fairly flat channel up, and I think this is like a spike and channel. But yeah, it's fairly flat. Double bottom, first, failed second entry. I don't like all that overlap. So you can see that double bottom, first, failed second entry. And it's so close to the highs. You can see it tests the highs, comes back down before going higher. So I just don't like when these big bars overlap. Even though Mac has talked about taking those sometimes. Let's say you're playing it like that. I don't think you want to do that. If you're playing it like this, well, yeah, it looks good, but I don't think there's just too much sideways in there. First entry, second entry. Why don't I go ahead and mark that? It's a second entry. We're in an uptrend. Perhaps it's off a... That's pretty close. That's pretty close. So you might be playing it like that. I just don't like that you're going right into the EMA. All this congestion, we break higher, it fails. You get this lower high, but I mean, I think this is looking like a pretty strong uptrend at this point, so it's aggressive to go short. We get a break of this channel, and this looks like a failed second entry long. This is a second entry short, so it also is a lower high. It looks like a pretty decent setup. And then we get a higher low right here, far from the EMA. Maybe you take that. And then you get another bounce, and that's like a double test of the support line, but it's also a second entry long with plenty of room back to the EMA to scalp out. So I like that. This is too congestive right here. First entry, failed second entry. That's also second entry long. Very good entry right there, off the trend channel. And then you get a higher low. It kind of also looks like you could count this as a new, like a double bottom, first entry, failed second entry. That's what I think that looks that way. Get some 2 legs of correction, first entry, failed second entry. This is just looking congestive, and that's why I marked it as green. And I don't see anything in here before it rockets up. Overshoot leads to a break, new high. We form a flatter channel here, and that's a failure, but, or at least I would look at it that way, even though this is the low. So maybe look at this as the failure. I don't think you can take this. And then it spikes up again, corrects. That's the second entry. So I'm gonna have to mark that green with how bullish this is. And I mean, maybe, whoops. Let's see where we at. All right, where did I go? All right, so yeah, I mean, this you might argue this is the second entry too, and with how bullish it is, you might take that. Too congestive here. Selling off. I'm not taking any shorts at this point. First entry, second entry off that trend channel. Good enough signal bar. First entry, second entry doesn't trigger, and it's below the EMA. So when we get this outside bar that's pretty bullish, you might take that. I don't think you can take that. It kind of looks like a first entry failure, but it's not. But maybe, I don't know. So we get a spike up that overshoots this channel, and then we get 2 legs back, and then we get this 2-legged correction into this spike and channel. That's why I wrote that there. I'm going to delete that, but it was just something I was noticing. Something interesting is 2-legged spike down into this channel, and you get a failure right here. But like I said, I'm not going short. I don't think this, I think this doesn't make a new low, so you don't want to take that. And it's looking sideways anyway. And we come down here, and you get a failure, but it doesn't trigger right away. So, and you're going short, so you're probably not trying to take that. Then we're going sideways, and we form this upward bias. And it just looks too congested for me. Hit these highs, first entry, second entry, you get a higher low, and then you get a failure. So either one of these, I think this one could probably be blue, but I'm going to leave it green. Then we come down, bounce, second entry, higher low. I think that's an aggressive trade you might want to take. Very long channel. We get a break, move to a new high. You get a failure, but again, I'm not going short on a day like today. And this is just a range with no, like, this is a second entry, so you actually might want to take that. Then we get this channel. And I mean, this looks like a two-legged pullback. Maybe you take that. Maybe you take a good signal bar off this trend channel, but we didn't get any. Then we form this correction, and you get this second entry short right here. Then we're going up. First entry, failed second entry short. I say you take that one. And that brings us to the end of the day. So pretty high volume day. 10:30 to 11:30 I think was pretty low volume if I remember correctly, but a rather high volume day. So I hope everyone had a great day, and I'll be back tomorrow.